one I favor.
It's a pretty balanced lineup. I think GG have definitely gone back to comfort, but in a way that suits the style that they have brought here to MWI. Both these teams now vying for their first victory of the tournament. A defeat in this series means being the first team eliminated from the Women's Invitational here in the Esports World Cup. We got Gaimin Gladiators versus Tidal Legends Gaming.
You know, looking at both teams, I'm thinking about spike times. I'm thinking about when are these teams going to pop off. We know Chokes, once she gets to that level 4 with the electrifying beats, there is time to play. There is room to maybe look for some off-lane ganks, but on the side of GG as well, a big level 4 spike with Sayori, with Nicolette, with the bravest fighter. If they can capitalize on those rotations, look for those stuns in the back line from Arya, there could be some damage happening, especially around first, second turtle. I think that could be the big moments that these team fights pop off.
It looks like TLG is already trying to delay those moments. We actually saw Kenzaki and Bei steal away a jungle camp from Nicolette right after clearing EXP wave at level 2. So that'll actually make it so that Nicolette is slightly behind in EXP compared to Chokis. Oh, hold on, Arya could be in some trouble. Okay, yeah, Gaimin does not want to fight this yet. They know they've lost some EXP.
Yeah, one of my big worries for Arya right now on this Lapu Lapu, we saw her yesterday on the R-Lot, and it seems like sometimes she would dive a little bit too deep without the team. Sometimes go for these big plays all alone, and what I want to see from Arya is stick with your team, stay close. Gaimin Gladiators likes to play that big group, but damage in the middle.
Here comes the Blade Surge, connect with Vermouth, first blood over to Nicolette.
Yeah, Vermouth goes down already, seeing that aggression that we were looking for from the side of GG. And this is what you want to see from a Suyo. In the past, when we saw the Joy versus Suyo battle, yes, I do think the Joy wins out in the 1v1, but if the Suyo can get some kills early on, it's a huge advantage.
Yeah, and that's what GG have done. Kokos comes in from backline, steals the turtle away from right under the Gaimin Gladiators. Tsunami Slam gonna be stolen away, used. Nicolette pulled back and executed. And Arya forced the flicker just to get away as well.
All right, so Turtle plus a kill over to the side of TLG. It's a nice lead, about 600 gold. GG now need to rethink about how they approach this. Nobody checked that bush for Chokes. Nobody knew that the Joy was there. Once again, it feels like GG is kind of, the comms aren't just connecting, so they need to figure something out quick, or else this could get out of hand in the next few minutes.
I think we're still seeing an issue with the gameplay being a little bit one-dimensional, right? There's a bit of tunnel vision happening on the game in Gladiators where they have a goal and they're trying to achieve it, but not really thinking about other possibilities.
Yeah, I think what's important is do not rush it. TLG in a comfortable spot at this point. Decent rotations with the Joy. We know that TLG can kind of run this, let Joy farm the EXP lane here and there, use Bei to rotate up into the mid before these turtles, have good position. Look at Bei already, keeping vision, harassing onto the side of GG. And this is what GG needs to watch out for. They need to be able to get vision for themselves at times.
Esmeralda, definitely a slightly more unusual pick, but actually one of the few EXP laners that matches well against the newly buffed Lapu Lapu in lane early. This means that Bei can provide vision, allow Tidal Legends Gaming to make very informed decisions about how they rotate. Kenzaki going to find one, forces the Purify out from Sayori. And the dash forward, Electrifying Beats comes out, Fist Crack a little bit too late. Flicker from Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley is going to have to be careful. Yesterday, one of the big mistakes we saw from Ashley was being too far out at times, getting caught off, being too aggressive. And yes, they have an aggressive composition, but like you mentioned, it can't be too tunnel vision. They still need to keep themselves open. And Tidal Legends Gaming's positioning on the map, looking at the mini-map right now, they always kind of encircle GG. They're looking at all angles, looking to make a play from any member on the team. And once that player makes the play, the rest of TLG closes in. Look at Bei right now, sitting down in the spot bush. When we look at GG, they're just grouped up in the pit.
Kenzaki jumps in, Arya dashes away, Bei still holding the front line. Here comes the bravest fighter coming in, glad for the land shaker. Kenzaki flickers out of the wall. Chokis steals the turtle away regardless, and now Arya is 1v3. You're not getting out of that one. Chokis picks up the Lapu.
Chokis right now is not breaking a sweat at all in that turtle pit. It's not a problem for her. She's just hanging out on the other side of the wall, waiting for her time, clicks the retribution button. Not a problem, too easy, makes it look easy. GG needs to find an answer to that quickly.
And we are seeing better flexibility and just overall better positioning from Tidal Legends Gaming on the map right now. Oh, Nicolette in some trouble. Showcase 2 levels up on their opposing jungler right now. We can see that the pressure from TLG has been very powerful. Tsunami Slam purified away yet again.
Yeah, the Purify is gone though for Sayori, and that leaves Sayori in a bad spot. Sayori hasn't taken a death yet, which is huge. A lot of the members, it's not a high death game right now. We're 5.5 minutes in, and this is what I meant earlier when I said a lot of the teams are going to be digging their feet in. It's still only a 1.5k gold lead for TLG. Taking a look at the items, Hunter Strike has been locked in for Yin Hui. On the other side, that is about a 400 gold, nothing too crazy. Down to the junglers right now. The Joy is also ahead. GG needs to catch up if they want to be able to compete in this.
Showcase with the 1v1. Not going to force it against Nicolette. She should still be aware that she's in there. Yup, the Falling Star Moon forces the defensive Blade Surge. Tidal Legends Gaming doing a great job of rotating right now. Using Bay's strength at this current stage of the game to just completely zone out GG and take a free tower.
I will say that GG is playing this correctly right now. They're slowing it down. They know they fell behind. They're finally kind of stepping back, and this is what we wanted to see from them yesterday in a few points. TLG's at a point where maybe they could push the objective a bit more.
Tsunami Slam pulls back Sayori. Yin Hui executes them, and the rest of Gaimin Gladiators realizing we have gone too far. Aria gonna be another casualty in exchange for only Kenzaki.
Yeah, 2 for 1. GG does make it up by taking a tower at the bottom, but TLG takes the turtle and turns that 1.5k gold lead into a 2.3. The lead is advancing ever more, and GG didn't even want that fight. TLG brought it to them. They get the Tsunami Slam. They find that moment to pick someone off, and they're doing great at continuously finding these moments to pick a member of GG off.
Blade Surge goes in, Nicolette trying to whittle down Yin Hui, gets knocked out once again with the Tidal Strike. Ashley is there, but the rest of TLG are chasing them down. GG will be able to get out for now, but Aria is really far out.
Yeah, Aria's in a bad spot right now. Gonna just let the tower go, it's okay. Will she get away? Shot in the face, still stuck there. Should be able to get away safely.
Should be, unless, no, Yin Hui doesn't have another Death Sonata. Yep, Aria will be able to recall, loses the tower, Electrifying Beats comes out. Chokus sees 3 members of Gaimin in the mid lane as well.
All right, so where does it go from here? Still only a 2.2k gold lead. Hunter Strike does come in for Nicolette. Going to be a little bit more damage, a little bit more movement, a little bit of penetration to maybe get in onto Bay, get in onto some of the enemies of Tidal Legends Gaming. But again, the problem that we've been seeing isn't really about the damage, isn't about all the things, it's about the way that GG's been approaching these fights and how TLG has been approaching the map so well. They're playing this at a macro advantage. Once again, looking at the map, they are spread across all lanes, coming in, continuously circling around GG, and GG's just kind of sticking to this small little ball, and it's becoming a problem.
Yeah, GG, even though they have a good dive composition, at this point are quite reliant on having the numerical advantage because they simply do not have enough damage yet after Nicolette has been put behind in the early game. And TLG are able to make great use of that to just make their presence across the map really wide.
All right, so Starlium Scythe and the Crystal does lock in for Chokes. One more item and Chokes is completely online. I mean, the damage is already going to be there. It's already a problem for Nicolette. At this point, GG probably unable to even try to fight for this Lord. Ashley, though, maybe going to try to go for it.
Ashley goes in with Fist Break, gets cancelled instantly. Yin Hui secures the Lord. The rest of GG looking dive. Aria too far forward, flickers back, Landshaker lands in the stolen. Tsunami Slam catches Chokus. That is going to be the first kill on the Joy the entire game. 1-for-1 trade, but TLG gets the Lord.
All right, so the damage is starting to come in a little bit for Panda. I don't know whether forcing that fight there was a good idea or not. Since it's an even trade, I feel like it wasn't. No matter what TLG was getting that Lord, GG was just too late to the party, but we are starting to see the possibilities form for GG in these team fights. But again, I think it's a matter of time, not a matter of do we want to try to win every single fight. Let it go. Let Panda, she did get her Berserker's Fury a minute ago, about 30 seconds to a minute ago. I think she needs one more item till the crit's really there, and she can just burst down whoever's in front of her.
It sounds easy on paper,
yeah,
but it's difficult to achieve considering the circumstances. A 3k net worth lead in 10 minutes is not the worst, but it's still a difficult one. Blade Surge coming for Kenzaki. Tsunami Slam gonna be used to escape. Catches Nicolette, but Kenzaki will fall. And here comes the Raging Slash doing some good damage. Sayori in the front line. Chokers trying to burst down the back line, but they get picked off. The rest of TLG is not able to reach them in time. Gaimin Gladiators pack it tight.
Okay, so TLG, the strategy that they've been approaching is starting to not work as well. GG knew when the power spike was coming in. They knew, yeah, we can take a Tsunami Slam to the face. Panda's finally outputting. Chokes makes the mistake of maybe going for someone else instead of Panda. And now if TLG wants to win these fights, they have to know that, okay, Panda's the new target. That's who we need to get the electrifying beats onto. Third item's locked in. We get a little bit more distance now. Taking a look at the mages, it's a 400 gold lead over the side of Vermouth. I mean, still, I think it's still an even game at this point. The gold lead drops down a bit. GG showing that they're still in this to fight. Look at the damage!
Yeah, so much damage. 4-man Tidal Strike knocked up into the Tsunami Slam, and Ashley falls. Killing spree for Yinhui.
It is back and forth right now, but the thing is, it's not a high kill game. It's 6-5. It's still clean pickoffs, not too clashy overall. TLG takes a bit of that gold lead back. We're back to 2,000. I want to take a look at the gold laners though. 3-0-1, 3-0-1. Yinhui, we still haven't seen that true shining light overall, but I think we're going to see it soon, and this is where we're starting to see it. Look at the damage from him come in. Ashley just can't do a single thing. Anytime Renzaki gets a Tsunami Slam, that member of GG is normally going down.
Yeah, we're reaching the point of the game where the gold laners now really hold the reins of how the game is going to proceed. Panda is basically GG's final hope. If they can continue funneling gold into the Irritel, it'll be huge for them, since Tidal Legends Gaming still isn't holding on to that big of a gold lead.
I want to point something else out as well. Sayori has taken the Tsunami Slam. I think Gaimin Gladiators need to be able to use that well. Maybe wait for Chokes to come in, and it makes Sayori not as easy as a target. Is it going to matter? Arya also needs to be able to aim that bravest fighter. TLG, I think, just needs to keep playing the way they've been playing. Use Kenzaki.
The flicker completely. Yinhui bursts him down. Bay dives the backline for Mouth. Chasing down Panda. Almost dies, but is able to get away. Purify use. Here comes Chokers. Electrifying feet shut down on the Irritel. Bay now in 1v1 with Arya chasing them away. The fight is split completely in half, but TLG are the clear victors.
Once again, GG is just completely split up. TLG takes full advantage of that. Panda down, Ashley down, Arya nowhere to be found during this. Over on the side, it seems like the comms are just mixed up, and TLG is on point in terms of comms. They know the objective, they know what they need to do in every single team fight, and they are executing it to a T.
Man, we talked about how important the gold laners were going to be. Panda needed to keep herself alive there, but forced out too many resources to maybe burst down Vermouth and just put herself in the iron sights of Chokers. The situation now looking a lot worse than before.
Yeah, taking a look overall between the two, 14-15. Yinhui has it to level 15 a little bit faster. Minions, Panda, been able to farm those just a little bit better, I guess. But at this point, we're seeing Yinhui start to take jungle creeps, start to get those orange buffs for himself, start to get some of those advantages for his own team. And here they come, diving into the towers.
The Lord will collide with the top inhibitor. TLG taking things slow. Skypiercer now completed for Vermouth as well. Looks like the Chinese team not interested in pushing their advantage. It's all about map control.
All right, TLG, and I like this. They're not trying to rush anything. They're just taking it slow, taking it easy, tower by tower. We don't need to dive in. They do have Bay who can drop the Falling Star Moon at any point. I'm waiting to see that happen. I'm waiting to see Kenzaki dive in as well. They've shown that that's, a lot of damage on Yinhui there. She does back off, and I think that's the call for TLG to, we don't want to push this too far. We have the game in our hands so far.
Honestly, I do praise Yinhui for being willing to play so aggressively. She knows that she has reached a power spike on this Granger and can actually be the one that sets up the initiation by just poking someone down low enough. It's quite lucky for TLG that she didn't get picked off there, because that would have been a way for GG to claw their way back here.
Yeah, I mean, but it's going to be hard. At this point, Yinhui has 3 stacks build up. 30 stacks overall. 3-0-2. Going to start being more and more damage. It's going to get harder for Nicolette to hang out on that front line. Another
Tsunami
big pick.
Slam, they found Ashley, picks her up. Here comes the bravest fighter. Panda looking for the sideline, diving in. But look at the back chokers. Eliminates Sayori. Now looking for Panda, trying to run through the mid lane, but Panda finds a reversal kill. Falling Star Moon onto Nicolette. Panda trying to run away. Vey, will she be able to find more? Yinhuai picks up the mega kill. Aria the whole time has been holding back the rest of TLG.
I don't know how many times I can say it. Every time the fight breaks out, Panda jumps forward, someone else gets left behind. It feels like the dive comp, and this is what I was worried about with a dive comp like this. You have to dive together to make this work, or you just gotta be a top G like that. You better secure the kills if you're gonna go alone, and right now Panda's unable to secure them. Yes, she ends up getting the one on to choke, so that's with the help of a teammate, and by her not being there, they lose Aria. They lose members of the team, so they gotta hold it together if they're gonna survive on this, and TLG are approaching every fight very well. Now with Lord coming up, they still have a 4.5 gold lead. That did drop earlier, was at around 6K. So gold's starting to come back. We're at the 16-minute mark. GG's only chance, I think, is they got to survive past this Lord.
This is going to be an important objective right here. Gaimin Gladiators, their base is naked. No inhibitors left. Concealed from Kenzaki. Going to be scouted out, but the Tsunami Slam still catches Ashley. And another Tsunami Slam going to clock down Tokas with the fist crack. And Nicolette punishes the dive.
That is huge. Taking out the Retribution. 40-second count for Chokes. GG. Everyone's going back to base for health. Things are forced to reset, but because they have all of their towers down, they can't really capitalize on it. Where do we go from here? At this point, it just looks like a reset. Gold dropped down a bit more. Another 1.5 makes it down to 3K. GG getting ever so close, but Nicolette maybe diving too deep here.
And Nicolette tried to make the call, didn't land the Blade Surge, but doing some good damage. Vermouth has also taken a lot. Blade Surge once again connects with Bay. GG looking for the initiation in the mid lane, but TLG just backs it off.
Aria gonna stay back to control the waves. That makes this a 4v4 still. Chokes not on the field. GG gonna try to rush the Lord here.
Blade Surge once again into the fist crack. They found Bay. Tsunami Slam gonna be purified away by Kenzaki as well. And that means the Kalea is too far forward. Gaimin Gladiators are turning it around. Double kill for Panda. Tsunami Slam stolen away. It's a triple kill for Panda as Gaimin Gladiators strikes back.
The clock has been ticking. GG back in the game, but what can they make of this? First Lord of the game, first big win of the game. Yinhui, though, still unkillable. She's 4-0-2. Can she defend this? I don't think this is GG's for GG just yet, but it does turn the tables a bit.
It evens up the field in a massive way. This is the first time the entire game that Gaimin Gladiators had a gold lead. It's not very much when you consider that we're 18 minutes in, but it is enough for them to regain map control. Yinhui now, the last bastion for TLG, the only thing standing between them and defeat.
The winner crowns are locking in for Aria and Nicolette. Not only that, Panda just picked up the rose gold, fool. The rose gold, dude. And I feel like it's going.
They found Chokes all by herself in the mid lane. 4 members chasing her down, and she just barely gets out.
The damage is stacking up for the side of GG. They're finally working as a team. TLG now at this point maybe needs to close in a bit. Don't approach these fights so spread out because any one member of GG could chunk you down.
Fate has been reversed. Lord crashing in bot lane. Blade Surge did some good damage, but Tsunami Slam pulls Ashley back. Flicker out used by the Badang to escape. Look at Chokes. She's looking for the wraparound, but goes for the mid lane clear instead. Gaimin Gladiators have already spotted her.
Chokes looking for the wraparound. Might wrap around and wrap him down. Could be a problem, but the wrap has been found. Chokes has to go back to base at this point. GG do break through in the tower. Nicolette looking for the engage.
Forces out a flicker from Kenzaki. Nicolette making up for a less than stellar early game with all these Blade Surge initiations. It's not usually the hero that starts fight, but it's working for GG.
Okay, so now that GG is on the upper foot, the tables have turned, the turntables, whatever you like to say. It's 5K gold lead over to their side, but we're at almost the 60K gold mark where gold leads do not matter anymore. This is going to be a battle of strictly full items, technique, who had the better draft and who can pull it off. And Tidal Legends Gaming maybe needs to differently approach how they approach this. With all the winter crowns on the field, with the rose golds, it's not as easy to get those kills. With Sayori taking this Tsunami Slam, who does Chokis go for?
We're gonna have to put a hold on that question because they have found Aria. Lantern gonna pick her up. Gaimin Gladiators not looking to engage. They want to be the ones that start the fire.
All right, and TLG now taking control of the river. GG pushed back. It's going to be this all night long. Luckily, GG does take that long lane tower. So in terms of macro, it's going to be a little bit easier against this Lord. GG making their way to the Lord pit, trying to get control over that. They are hiding out in the bush. Nicholas shows face. TLG going to maybe go for the more long lane push here. Either send Chokes down, send Kenzaki down, or do they just let the fight happen here? They are going to get that slow push down there.
Surge actually misses this time.
Oh.
Dream-Man Tidal Strike knock up Tsunami Slam, pulls back Nicolette Winter Crown, buys some time, but Yinhuai is now unstoppable. The Sky Piercer executes the Suyo.
Oh.
Flicker forward with the Bravest Warrior actually misses. Landshaker connects, but the Purify comes out from Vermouth. Tidal Legends Gaming now on full retreat mode. Look at Chokis. She's still waiting in the mid bush, and there are minions in the base. TLG, they just need to stop GG
Holy crap,
from
that's a lot of
recalling.
minions. That is a lot of minions. Someone's got to go back. Arya is able to make it, should be able to save the day here. I need to see that base right now.
I think
We'll be
Arya
okay,
made
the
it
health
back
is coming back.
just in time. That is actually kind of terrifying.
Yeah, 20 seconds for Nicolette. No retribution for them. Panda still doesn't have heavy crossbow, so the damage just isn't there. Even earlier when Arya made that engage, I feel like she shouldn't have because there was no heavy crossbow. There was no big damage for the side of GG.
Yeah, GG didn't need to force that. It was very obvious that TLG was baiting their positioning and there was no real need to bite onto the line. But luckily, they did not lose too many resources for doing so. It is now going to be a 50-50 Lord Dance. There's a pretty big minion wave bottom, though.
Yeah, I mean, TLG at this point can just slow play this all they want. Earlier, they did use Arya as the lane protector, as the base protector. That's how they achieved the Lord before, and they were able to get the kill onto Chokis. But the thing is, I don't see Chokis doing what she did last time, kind of overstepping her footing. At this point, TLG respects GG very much, and they're not going to go for the deep dives. They're going to play this slow. They're willing to dance, and GG needs to be willing to dance as well, and that's been their biggest downfall. They try to force fights. They just have to do something.
Hold on,
but right now, maybe they should have.
Tsunami Slam pulls in Nicolette, but Ashley finds a two-man fist crack into the bush. Yinhuai and Chokis have to back it off. They've already used their resources just to survive. So despite everything, there's no casualties here.
Immortality does pop for Kenzaki. One resource down. Sayori does still have the IMU. Overall, Lord's gonna get reset, and this is Lord number 4. Just to let everybody know, we're 23 minutes in, and both teams feet in the dirt, 10 toes down, stand on business, trying to make something happen here. Nicolette, watch for the positioning in the back.
We talked about the teams breaking game time records before the show started. These two going in the complete opposite direction. We might be breaking a record for the longest game at MWI here, as neither side is willing to give an inch still. Nicolette does land the blade surge on Bay, but that is the Esmeralda. Very easy to walk away.
Chokis with the positioning in that tri-bush once again. On the long lane, GG will have the advantage. That is going to start slow pushing over to the side of TLG. So if this gets dragged out long enough, pretty sure TLG is going to be the one that has to go back and do something about it. GG, who forces this first, right? I think it's all going to come down to either a big Kenzaki slam, see if she can pull something off and get the pick off like she did before, or TLG maybe overstepping their boundaries. Ashley as well, we've seen some great fist cracks, we've seen some great fist wins. Who's going to make the bigger play first?
It's difficult to say. Tidal Legends Gaming still have better tools for pick-off. GG is quite reliant on Nicolette landing a Blade Surge on a target that is separated from the rest of Tidal Legends Gaming. But both sides are sticking very close now.
Yeah, and I love the cutoff here from Nicolette into the mid lane, forcing that mid wave up. Like I said, bot lane still pushing ever slowly towards TLG. On the top side, though, GG having a little bit of trouble. Arya coming back to this fight. They're going to have to watch this wave on the top side. do something about it soon. Arya forced to go back, and that's going to give position back to TLG in this dance. I mean, this is a battle of macro. This is a battle of patience, and Kenzaki finally breaking the patience.
They commit to it. Falling Star Moon comes in, but the instant stun, Kenzaki is bursted. 100-0. Tokus is in the back line, gets Tsunami Slam, but the Electric Flying Beast already came out. Sayori melts down. The rest of Gaimin Gladiators are falling one by one as Tidal Legends Gaming has finally found the opening that they've been looking for. They've only lost Kenzaki so far. Winter Crown going to be used by Arya. Try and buy a little bit more time. Swaps over to Immortality. Dashes into the mid lane, somehow still alive, but Panda gonna have to try and hold the base all by herself. There's only a single minion, Purify, gonna be used in advance, but the burst, the shutdown, the godlike Yin Huai pelting down the crystal, and that's all she wrote. Tidal Legends Gaming take game number 1.
A 20-minute plus game, testing both teams' patience there. TLG, though, finds the play, and for just a second there, Nikolai gets the kill on a Kenzaki. But once again, GG spread out, and TLG take advantage, hone in, do what they know best, and bite down and shred GG apart in the final team fight, leaving nothing but Panda to defend. For just a second, you know, we thought maybe Arya could save the base, but was unable to do it. TLG come out and make it match point.
What a game this has been, though. It looked like it was all going according to Tidal Legends' plans in the first few stages. But the reversal from Gaimin Gladiators showed that they have learned something from their losses in day number 1. Unfortunately, it still was insufficient. Those final lore dances proved to be their undoing.
All right, and it looks like, I mean, looking at the team right now, some of them are taking it hard. Looks like the coaches are trying to talk to the team members, letting them know, hey, we got to fix this. Hey, we got to do this. But let's take a look at the highlights and see what we need to work on. GG, so many of those early turtle fights, man, they just didn't have it together. They were all grouped up, and TLG would just surround them. And with the composition as fast moving as TLG, with the pick-off abilities of Kenzaki, with Chokes being able to consistently get to the back line, it turned that whole early game into their advantage. And GG, if they maybe didn't lose the early game so hard, maybe they could have snowballed. But with that out the window, they only had one chance, and that was get to late game, get Panda online. And once they finally did that, they still weren't able to execute it.
They weren't too far off from achieving their goal, but a lot of their comeback potential came from TLG splitting themselves up across the map. Once Tidal Legends knew that that was what was causing them to lose team fights, they started grouping up together, making use of the lane pushes to really close the game down.
Leo, how are we feeling?
GG showed a lot of heart. I'll tell you now, that draft was not easy to make work, especially in the early game into the mid game, because come that, what was that, third Lord, when GG finally scored it, it looked like, hey, they figured it out. And you're right. You mentioned somewhere in the game, if you're playing a dive comp like this, you have to all dive in. But again, if only this happens about 70-80%, TLG squeezed into the last 20 and broke the lineup apart at the very last moment. When they picked off Kenzaki, I thought that was it. But when you looked at the minimap, literally Panda was over here, Arya was over here, everyone else was just... I knew that was the end. As painful as it is, GG have yet to found the working formula, or at least have found it hard to stick to it, because there were definitely some shining moments here in game number 1. TLG, though, as they exited the battle stations, base said 2-0. She's feeling the 2-0, and I'm scared for GG.
She's feeling it.
I'm scared as well after seeing what happened in that game. Yes, there were some good things from Gaimin Gladiators, but it felt like they just went back to the same old habits of throwing bodies at the wall and hoping something sticks.
Kenzaki played a great game there, though, man. I'm talking about so many of the Tsunami Slams were pivotal. And even at the end, when there was a few times that, yeah, Kenzaki died for it, even that last team fight, you said it, Leo, it looked like the game was in the hands of GG's through that fight. But Kenzaki did her job. She scares Panda off to the right, and GG doesn't know what to do with it. They lose their damage dealer, and after that, there's no answer.
Yeah, I think it's more than just Kenzaki. It was also Chokes. Chokes did amazing on the Joy. About more than half the team fights that she was a part of, she got the wrap around, and that was more than enough to scare GG, even if they did not know she was there. It wasn't always sure, but the fact that she consistently finds the back line makes Panda's job all the more difficult. I get it, I understand. I don't blame her for playing the way she did.
Yeah, I mean, looking at some of these fights, the ones that they do win out on, look, here's that last fight we're talking about. Panda comes in, Panda runs off to the right here, and I think at that point Panda's like, yeah, I'm done with this fight, but the rest of the team is stuck in it.
It's really, really messy. Right from the beginning until the end, players were not communicating properly. And when you commit to a dive composition like this as well, you're not going to be able to escape from most of the fights that you start. You gotta commit, and you need to communicate to your team that we need to all fight this if we want to have a chance at winning. There were so many situations where half the team wants to back off, but half the team is still inside the fight trying to make something happen. And if the team fights were just taken a little closer together, I feel like the chances of GG winning them out would have been higher.
It's difficult to ask because, again, TLG drafted very beautifully. They had the Joy to break them apart. They had the Granger to poke from afar. They had the Zushin to control zoning and range. And then the rest of the lineup was just beneficial, or at least countered everything that GG wanted to do. So draft-wise, maybe there is a lot to adjust there as well to maybe take us to game number 3. But before we do that, I do believe we have something to watch here real quick to get to know Gaimin Gladiators a little more. Let's watch this.
You got this.
You gotta respond in Malaysian.
Gone.
Tapi kita orang laut sedap doh.
Yeah!
She said!
Yeah! New country, easy server.
This guy's definitely a random. I'm not gonna lie.
Man, you're not playing, bro. Don't talk. He's so childish. Is this about me? So what?
Bro, look at his profile picture. What is he doing?
Yeah, upload your face first, because you cannot show your face because you're ugly.
Someone said boring.
That's why you're behind a screen and we're here.
Someone said, we love you, Queen.
No, that's my comment.
That's yours.
Last year, we were in Group of Death. This year, we're in Group of Death again. But I don't need to go.
Yeah. Someone said, Mobile Legends push for gender equality.
Go Panda.
Oh, what? Me?
Yeah.
I think women are definitely making a voice in the competitive scenes, and we are just as capable as men.
We definitely know a little bit more about Gaimin Gladiators there. Great to remember that they were in the Group of Death, and now they're here again, and they're at the brink of death. I wonder how Ashley's keeping the girls together. I wonder what that process is like, because I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's one of their biggest downfalls. You can see like the tilt on all of their faces. Yesterday, after they lost that game too, you could see Ashley just being frustrated. You know, a lot of them took that loss hard, and one of the most important things we saw it yesterday, you know, even though you lost, you gotta come in. You have to play just as strong in the next game, if not better. So whoever is the voice right now, whoever's trying to, you know, pull them all together, needs to be there on their possibly last game of the day.
Stefan, what do you think is going down in the camp of TLG? They are one game away from eliminating GG.
I think for TLG, they're just gonna need to stick to the basics, right? They've already figured out what works. I think it's very clear to them as well what the weaknesses are on the side of Gaimin Gladiators, because it's something that we have observed. I think it's something that many of the teams and many of the coaches can quite easily observe as well. As long as you continue picking up drafts that pressure the early game, provide you good map control towards the mid side, and have good defenses in your front and back line, it's quite simple to force GG to run at you. So that means going into game number 2, a lot of the impetus is on Gaimin Gladiators to actually change up this playstyle.
I didn't get to ask you, gentlemen, post-game, things happen so fast. Who would you name as the MVP for game number 1?
Ooh.
Like I said, I really liked Kanzaki. Chokes as well, did an amazing job. I think it's a toss-up between the two of them for me.
I like to point out players that don't get quite as much green time, so I want to say Bay, actually. The Esmeralda was creating a lot of space and making Gaimin either like play super safe or just completely ignore her, which was not necessarily the right choice.
I don't know what stream you're watching, but Bay gets plenty screen time. Maybe
I mean,
in
like,
game.
In game, you know, you're always gonna focus on the goal lane, on the jungle, you know? We gotta
Not when
give
base
it-
playing.
Not one base.
Okay, that's fair. You know what? That's fair.
She really dominated fights. Again, they ran Lapu Lapu into this Esmeralda. I think that alone is trouble because if you're looking at the Lapu Lapu and a Badang. So that's why I think it was so easy for TLG to just spread out GG like this because wherever Bay chooses to go, like that's a non-starter. So that's already one front of the fight taken out. And then you have the other side covered by Kanzaki. So all of them valid. I think we just gotta mention Vermouth because we talked about all four members. So let's bring in the mid laner as well. I wonder how GG will be answering this. Any thoughts on GG's draft here as we prepare for game number 2? What should they change? What should they prioritize? I'm sad that Suyo couldn't catch a break. Like still winless.
I mean, I think the Suyo at this point, we're seeing that there's not a whole lot it's going to work with unless the team's ready. Unless you get that early game snowball, it just doesn't really have a chance to keep up. As far as draft, I think the Badang pick that early on was maybe a little too rushed. They gave over the Kalea, and whether you like it or not, Kalea has continuously showed that it is an amazing pick. And if you're going for something simple, you want to go for Roam, I think it's solid. Yes, Ashley didn't do amazing with it yesterday, but I think still it fits well in the team.
Yeah, unfortunately, Badang is no longer the universal first pick he used to be as well, right? Last time it was safe to pick Badang first very early, no matter what, because he was just such an effective hero for stunning. But nowadays, after the nerfs, while he's still a solid pick, is a lot easier to counter. And then you consider that the Suyo was picked into multiple sources of magic damage, which he is going to melt to a lot of the time. You would see why Gaming Gladiators had difficulty.
So Coach, Rexvin, and Midnight may have overshot with that early Badang. Let's see if they will reconcile these drafting choices in game number 2 because it's all on the line. Do or die. GG answering back on the red. This does allow for them to react. Very good position to recover from TLG on the play. Coach Catvin first bans out the Hayabusa, Stafa, and Trex. Y'all take it.
All right, so like we said, we saw the Badang pick. I think another thing we need to see change up on the side of GG, we didn't really like the Valentina pick. I would have liked to see something a little more artillery, a little more back line. Sayori being forced to dive in. I don't think she got a single kill in that last game, 5 assists. Towards the mid to late, she was like 0, 1, and 5. I need to see something a little more controlling from her. They had time to pick up something like the Zushin. They had time to give her something comfortable. The thing is we know Ashley can put a lot of roamers in her kit. I don't think they need to force the roam. I think they need to put comfort into someone else. Does look like we're going to be taking a second to pause on this draft. So where do you think they take it from here?
Well, firstly, I will agree with you that the Valentina was maybe not the best choice, but at the same time, I don't think it was terrible because they picked it directly after the Kalea, which meant that they were expecting Sayori to steal the Tsunami Slam and set up a lot of these pickoffs, which honestly, Sayori was doing, but not enough of. And I don't even think it's necessarily her fault. Her team was starting fights without her a lot of the time, and she just had to kind of come in and grab someone after it.
I do agree. I think the problem is, though, right, like, there was no time. They needed the early game win with something like Nicolette on a Suyo, and Valentina's going to take a bit of time to really be able to. They needed that mid lane control, and Valentina, yeah, used to be a great mid lane mage, but right now with all the artillery out there, it's hard for Valentina to do that. And by the time, Valentina could make those big plays happen, it was too late for them. She was a great protector. The Tsunami Slams were amazing, but I think the rest, again, the comp just didn't fit. They have these early game heroes that want to scale early on. They have these more mid to late that need time. And again, everybody just wasn't on the same page, so they need to approach this together. If they do want to go for a big late game team fight, then they need to learn how to slow it down a little bit and not let TLG get ahead of them. We do see the Hayabusa ban from TLG here, Uranus from the side of GG. Nothing too much changed up thus far.
Now, I wanna bring up a separate topic here, Trex, that I feel like might be a very crucial component we may not have been pointing out enough. Aria has not been given a winning EXP lane the entire tournament. every single game her hero has been picked early and then counter-picked or even picked into a counter-pick. And the EXP lane for GG keeps losing, which means that the jungle is always vulnerable.
Very fair, and I think so. Do we? I mean, in a lot of teams, as you say, like hold that EXP lane till later on, or put something flexible in that maybe you can swap around later on. And this goes back to what they're prioing in that first 3 picks, and maybe how they should change that up. A lot of teams aren't prioing the EXP lane right up front; they're waiting for the other team to do it, and that might be what GG needs to take a couple notes of here thus far.
As someone who plays a lot of EXP lane myself, it's a terrible situation to be put in a lane where you know you cannot win, and then you just watch your jungle get invaded. You lose out on map control because of it. I do hope that GG gives Arya a bit more space in terms of the draft. There are heroes that can be good, and even if you pick something like a Lapu Lapu, for example, which wins most of its matchups, you need to draft heroes that can counteract other heroes in advance.
I agree. I think there needs to be some sort of, I mean, there's, at this point though, GG has a very long checklist of things they need to do right, and it's their not only last series, but possibly last game. Okay, the draft is finally moving forward now. Gatak gonna get banned out from the side of TLG. GG, on the other hand, on the gun.
I think it's very smart of Tidal Legends to ban out the Gatot. This is one of the few frontliners that has a get out of jail free card. So if GG wants to play dive, they pick up a Gatot, they can use it to escape if it gets too dicey. TLG is just gonna take that option away from them.
I like it. GG on, I'm wondering, do we see them go for something damaging again? Does TLG once again hone hard into GG's jungle? We saw last time they weren't left with much in the second phase, and this time about, instead of maybe slotting the XP so early, slot Nicolette, make her comfortable, give her something that's powerful in the jungle, whether it's the Fredrin, whether it's an assassin, you know, things that we've seen her do well on.
I agree. There are certain lanes that you can afford to pick a little earlier, even if it may end up being countered, because especially jungle and gold lane, their goal is just to get that farm. You gotta prioritize EXP, especially if you want to make sure you don't lose out to early game pressure. Looks like GG are banning out that Kimmy, so putting a bit more focus onto that mid lane as well.
All right, so I mean, overall, still looks very similar to last time. This time, TLG are going to ban out the Joy. They know they have first pick. They maybe don't want to pick up the Joy as their prio, so they don't want to give it over as well. I got a feeling with them being on blue side now, we might see them fall back into that utility, like what we saw from them yesterday. Maybe they take the Fredrin up front. So no Hayabusa, no Joy. But at this point, TLG has shown many faces on the field, and we know that, I mean, honestly, Chokas can probably even play a lot more than what we've already seen.
Yisun going to be the final ban from GG, so TLG have a lot of options. I agree with you, Trex. I think Chokas is still hiding a lot of potential there since her first debut on an assassin jungler went very, very well. I think Baxia going to be a very easy first pick if TLG wants to lean in that direction. Still one of the most flexible heroes in the meta.
Basha is out right now, and yeah, you could play at Roam. It's great in the jungle right now. It seems to be the favor, but what makes it a good first pick is the possibility for flexibility, and it's something we want to see. It's something that I feel like, honestly, right now in the meta, there's not a lot of picks that are getting flexed around. We haven't seen a lot of drafts where it's, oh, this first pick gets swapped at the last second phase, you know? We haven't seen that too much, at least so far in MWI, and it's something that can completely change the advantage of a draft for a team. So there goes the Basha. GG now. I think they lock in the Kalea. Maybe the Granger as well. They go for the Badang again. I'm not saying Ashley played bad on it, but at least it's something comfortable. And hopefully they don't lock in the EXP right away. But they are going to possibly get over the Kalea here.
I don't know how I feel about this. The Granger Badang opening feels really safe, feels kind of reactive to me. Yes, it doesn't reveal too much of what your comp wants to do yet, but it will remain to be seen, because I understand why you don't go Kalea here. Baxia already indirectly counters her, but it means that TLG can also lock her in right now.
I think what I like about the Granger, though, for Panda seems, I feel like the Aerithel, it's a great pick, but it seems just a little too slow-paced for what GG wants to bring. I think Granger comes online just a little bit faster. If you want to play the aggressive game, you're a little bit quicker to move around the map. We finally see a Bruno pick, though, in Stream B, and there goes the Farza. TLG, this is just clean, man. It's front to back, no questions asked. It's honest MLBB right now.
It's excellent. It's a great opening, flexible in the Baxia, and then Pharsa, one of the best mid laners we have right now. You already mentioned Irritel might take a little bit longer to come online, so why not go for an even earlier game marksman, the Bruno, to instantly try and gain priority in the gold lane, making sure that GG is not able to get an early lead.
Yeah, I think GG's got to pick up a mid laner. They go for the ZTN. I was wondering either jungle or mid. One of them they have to go for. Nicolette, they can always still fall back to something like the Suyo, I guess, because I got a feeling that TLG is going to ban hard. We're going to see that Fredrin ban once again. We're going to see some of these bans out towards Nicolette. The ZTN, though, I had some issues with it yesterday. It didn't really feel comfortable for them. Sayori was constantly picked off, but they were going up against a Lancelot when they were playing yesterday, something that could really just kind of pick on Sayori. This time, they do have... You know, they're up against a Basha. It's not an assassin who's going to immediately just get to the back line and eliminate Sayori. So maybe it looks a little better, but TLG still just honest MLB feeling comfortable about it.
I mean, but TLG can just flex the Baxi into Roam. And
That's
then
true.
you lock in
If they
Ling or
want to.
Lancelot, and Zetian and Granger will just be sitting ducks. I don't really like the Zetian so far. It is a mid-hero that requires a little bit more follow-up. It works quite well with something like a Tot, for example, because you land the ultimate and then the AOG just comes in right afterwards. If you don't have something to set up or follow up with that Zetian ultimate, this hero doesn't actually offer that much.
I mean, you get the stuns. Some teams are making it look great. I'm still not completely on board with it. It still does seem to be one of the top 3 most picked. It does have decent wave clear in the beginning. It has those first 2 skills that do have some spread damage. There goes the Lancelot band, like I called. We're going to focus in on to Nicolette here. It's all about GG. I feel like a lot of their comps, it's not exactly the composition itself, it's how they deliver it that has been very off. Because we've seen the comps that they bring, they win out on a lot of team fights. Even in yesterday's games, they were able to win out on team fights, but at some point, they just don't execute it correctly. And because TLG's keeping it so simple, it's a very easy composition to execute, man. You got the Pharsa in the back, find good positioning, drop the feathered airstrike. If they try to dive on you, you have the Basha, who can just roll around, wait for the moment to strike. And now we have this Bruno who is going to be able to pack a punch.
And we're already seeing a much more honest, much more direct gameplay style from Tidal Legends Gaming, which typically, when it comes down to 2 evenly matched teams, typically the side that has an easier composition to play will have the slight advantage. And I do think Tidal Legends currently holding on to that. Gaimin Gladiators, they banned out the CC, so at least now they are giving a little bit more attention towards Aria's side of the map. That could help out a lot.
Now still waiting on this last ban. So at this point, what do we see lock in for these last 4 picks from each side? GG still needing an EXP laner, still needing a jungler. They did take your advice. Hold on to that EXP for a little bit later. Look for counterplay. They are going to get last pick of this whole draft. So what do you think? They lock in the jungler first with Nicolette and then hold Arya for the possible counterplay?
I think so, actually. There's not really a lot of junglers left in the pool that are worth last picking unless GG is looking at a Fanny.
All right, so draft should be resuming now. We had a quick pause once again on it. Small technical issue, just making sure everyone gets a fair field of play. GG on the gun for this ban. Last ban for them. They're going to lock into EXP as well because the thing is TLG also needs an EXP laner. So CC's gone. Do they take out... It's all about what they want to pick. If they want to go for the Lapu again, do they take out the Esmeralda?
I think it is going to be Lapu. But if they're banning like this, I have a feeling that they're picking Lapu as the 4th pick as well.
Yeah,
it can work.
Since they banned the Esmeralda, it makes me think, yeah, Lapu's coming in as this 4th pick.
It can work. Now that the most direct counters are gone.
Good counter to Pharsa.
It's good counter to Pharsa, yes. Would still have some trouble against something like Glue though, so it's not like TLG wouldn't have options left over.
Last ban for TLG. Do they take out the Fredrin here? They targeted it earlier in second phase. I know that the Fredrin's not like an easy answer to the Basha, but at least it's something. I don't know if I've seen Nicolette too much on the Ling, and I don't know if that's going to be a route that TLG takes for this ban.
I think Ling would actually be pretty good though.
Yeah, the Ling could be solid. It might just be the safety ban,
But
honestly.
you would need a little bit more early pressure, which again requires a good matchup in the EXP lane. So again, unless GG is specifically holding on to a surprise jungle pick like Fanny, I still think it is better to leave EXP for last.
Looks like we're gonna have a quick headset change on stage right now. Seems like we've come down and figured out what the problem is. So yeah, last ban. You said maybe they ban Ling, maybe they ban...
I think you do still ban Fred because dealing
Ling
with
just
utility
doesn't
jungler is
feel as
difficult.
comfortable. Yeah.
You have a box, yeah, you can deal with a Ling.
And Fredrin just looks solid right now. I mean, of course, it's gonna do better with something a bit more on the lines of that healer in the back line. But it's too late for that. GG's already kind of showed their cards. They've picked up Ashley with this Badang, unless they go for the old switcheroo and slot the Badang into EXP, but it's something we don't see very often right now. Not very often at all, for that matter. Speaking of this Bruno, though, how do we feel like it's going to go against Panda on the Granger?
Bruno has way more early game damage, but it actually is more of a 50-50 matchup because Granger outranges a lot of the time. If you properly use your Rhapsody, you can actually outpoke a Bruno. So it really comes down to how much you actually want to interact. If Panda wants to play it completely safe, she just avoids interacting with Yinhai entirely. Take the L in the gold lane, go for less lane prio just to farm up safe, which means that her team is going to need to pick up a little more of the slack, but it guarantees that Granger will farm up well into the mid game.
All right. ZTN. ZTN, you said you're not a big fan.
It's difficult. The hero needs a lot of help. You have to basically craft your lineup around it correctly, because she is definitely not like a Swiss Army knife maze that you can slot in anywhere.
I agree. I mean, I think that what's big with ZTN and what's been big about, I feel like, all the mid laners right now and just these fights in general, timing is key. Using that ultimate, using the Fury of the Phoenix correctly, making sure that stun matters, whether it's to buy you a second longer in the team fight, whether it's to engage or to disengage. It's all about when using, same thing for the Feathered Airstrike, where we've seen the Pharsa do so well is positioning and timing, whether it's to defend, whether it's halfway through the fight. A lot of Pharsas kind of wait. You want to try to bait in the attack and then drop it down on whoever comes in. Ashley has been known to not do too well against the Pharsas, honestly. She's lost a lot. I mean, she's lost every game so far, but still a lot of those games has been due to a Pharsa. Yesterday we saw it. She was playing the Kalea, and every time she dived in, she would get hit by the Feathered Airstrike, shredded down, and completely nullified on the attack.
Yeah. But I don't really think it's even a Pharsa thing. It's just the way that GG is dealing with Pharsa. That is the problem. Every single game, the direct goal is kill the back line, ignore the front line. That can work in a lot of situations, but not every single one. You gotta give proper respect, you gotta give proper timing. Right now, they actually have a composition that's quite good at taking fights slowly, you know, poke from afar and then decide on the right timing to go in. It comes down to whether or not they can play that style, though.
All right, Drizzle ban for the last ban on the side of TLG. We did see the Drizzle pop up yesterday. Was a possibility. Another decent counter, I guess, to the Pharsa. So now the question is going to be answered. Are they going to go for that Lapu pick after the Esmeralda pick we saw last time? They go for the Suyo instead, save Arya for last.
All right, that's good. Save the EXP lane for last. That's what we talked about. Suyo will do a little better here as well, unless TLG suddenly pulls out 2 more magic damage sources. And Nicolette actually did pretty okay on the Suyo towards the end of game 1. If TLG is banning Terizla, though, I think they probably do intend to play Glue, potentially. Another good backline diving EXP laner that GG definitely doesn't have enough damage to pick off early.
And what do they even answer to that if that comes in? They also still need a roamer. You know, we still haven't seen the Minotaur just yet. There was talks about it possibly being good. We haven't seen that option. They could still go for more of a healer base here if they wanted to as well. Just go. Whoa, there's the healer. They pick up the Angela, pair it up with the Lapu Lapu. What is the answer for Arya?
Angela Yuzong combo. Angela Baxia combo. This is actually really scary. TLG already have early mid-game set in stone. GG can only really rely on Suyo's early burst damage to do anything to this. And we are looking at a very difficult spot right now. I don't think Lapu is going to be enough anymore. You might have to lean into something like an EXP Cho at this point.
Cho, maybe they could go for the glue or something of that nature. Against the Basha, the glue does do pretty well. Able to get the stun. Or they just stick with comfort. I mean, the Lapu doesn't do bad against the Yuzong. A lot of it's a battle of mechanics early on. They go for the Akai. Is this a EXP lane Akai right here?
I think so. It is an EXP lane. It's not bad, actually. Yuzong will not kill an Akai unless they make a big mistake. And it's good at canceling abilities like the Feathered Airstrike, but I am not too sure if this is the answer.
It's questionable. It's questionable to say the least. GG on their possibly last game spice things up just a little bit more. TLG on match point, and what'd you say? They just need to play, they just need to stick to the basics, and that's exactly what TLG are doing here. Yeah, they switch up the strategy a bit, but they've continued to show that they have many faces that they can approach this game to. They have many faces that they can play MLBB to, many paces. We've seen them play the utility style. Now we've seen them play the aggressive Joy style, and now we're going to see them pick up a healer. I'm excited for it.
Game number 2 of our first match here in the second day of MWI 2025. As the American representatives, Gaimin Gladiators, find themselves pushed against the wall, a single game away from ending their run in the competition. Will Tidal Legends Gaming put the final nail in the coffin?
Okay, so once again, taking a look at GG's composition, they have the Suyo that wants to scale early on. But in terms of the rest of the members, it's not very quick rotating. Seordi already making the way up. They are looking for some rotations, but it's a pretty immobile team with the Akai. I mean, it's kind of weird to see how this is exactly going to work out for them.
I also am really liking what we've been seeing of Yanhuai so far. This is a player that was actually pointed out to us before the competition even started for being quite aggressive and high impact. And speaking of impact, Chokus impacts against Panda in the gold lane.
You know, one thing we do want to see from Panda here, if she's going to pop off, is make those rotations happen. Don't be a sitting duck. Try to get involved in the team fights early on. TLG, on the other hand, they can kind of take their time with this. They have Farza, great level 4 spike, great 7-minute spike. The more items that they get locked in, I mean, the damage is going to stack up. They have Bruno as well. This is big damage capabilities with a solid front line and healing factor. It is a basic composition that's very straightforward, but that's all TLG needs to win this game, honestly.
Tidal Legends is basically guaranteed to win early to mid. Nicolette gonna be found in the tri-brush. Chokus stopping her from being able to take away that lizard as well.
Gonna go back and take the camp of her own. Burst turtle up. Level 4 is on Arya, might give them an advantage when it comes to this first turtle. If they can secure it, it keeps GG in the game. They do have a small gold lead. I think these first turtles, second turtle is going to be huge for both team members.
If Gaming Gladiators are able to win out the neutral objectives, even though Tidal Legends have a evidently better early game, it would be massive for them. They need to make very good use of the heavy spin. Arya will be key.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big debate on whether they can secure these first objectives, and maybe TLG knows it. It looks like Chokes is going to go for the orange buff. No, making his way back up. He didn't think GG was going to force it.
Chokus rolling in, sees 4 members of the Gaimin Gladiators. Heavy spin comes out, flickers forward, pushes Chokus into the pit, but here comes the Black Dragon. With the Heart Guard instantly, Arya gonna be abandoned again. First blood to Vermouth.
I don't know what happened there. GG, it seemed like they had the turtle in the bag. They decided to back off. Arya uses the heavy spin, but no one's there to be found. Nicolette decides to go back to their own buff. GG makes the call. This isn't what we want to do, I guess.
But that is it feels really weird. Again, the disconnect. Arya committed a very important ultimate. Actually successfully pushed Chokus out, but the moment that the Black Dragon form came in, Gaimin Gladiators just says, no, Aria, you're on your own.
Even worse, Nicolette was out of there before the Black Dragon even got there. She was making her way. She decided it seems like once she saw Cho'Gath show up, she decided to go back for her own camp, jump back into her jungle.
Fizz crack finds Kenzaki, a really good catch from Ashley. Panda though gonna eat it in return. Yinhui alive on 1% HP. Ashley barely escapes as well. Aria with the heavy spin pushes Bay into the tower. That's actually going to be a kill.
A 1v1 kill, Panda versus the Dragon. Panda comes out on top. Arya able to get that kill. That is huge, 2-2, but TLG still holding the gold lead.
Quite messy, but we can finally see now that Arya actually has a good matchup in the EXP lane, and that means that Gaimin no longer needs to worry about losing out that half of the map. It's unfortunate that they traded Panda, but it's still not the worst result.
Yeah, Panda was close to getting that kill on Yinhui though, but Yinhui, I mean, back-to-back games has been playing wonderfully. She's taken barely any deaths. I think game 1, she went deathless for almost all of the game until about last maybe 5 minutes of it. Up top side though, Nicolette might be in a bad spot.
Blade Surge, very lucky timing right there. Iframes away the shield unity. Yinhui in some trouble. Furious Phoenix completely misses. Heart Guard being considered. It is a 1v4 in the bot lane. Yinhui actually decides to go aggressive with this. The rest of TLG are coming to back her up. Feathered Airstrike does a lot of damage to Sayori, and the bouncing ball gonna be doing some good damage as well. But no kills for now.
A lot of resources committed from both sides there. Sayori's gonna have to go back to base right before this turtle. This time, is GG going to fully commit? Arya using that heavy spin, maybe just a little bit too early here.
Yeah, Arya got messed up by timing by Vermouth. Ashley, for some reason, just in front. You're not going to be able to tank that damage. The Badang falls.
Yeah, GG once again overcommits to something that the whole team doesn't want to be a part of. Nicolette is going to push it on this mid side, which is good. So GG continues to look for other things on the map, but TLG once again just sticking to the basics. We're going to take this turtle, we're going to take this turtle, we're going to come in and fight you, we're going to back off, we're going to play it safe. Taking a look at the items, Panda does have a small gold lead over Yinhui. As we move down to the mid lane, take a look at Vermouth, a pretty significant, almost 1,000 gold lead over Sayori, and that is going to be troublesome when you're going up against the Fars. The damage is already starting to stack up, and it's only going to get worse and worse for the side of GG.
It's a 1k gold lead for Bay as well. Arya has been pulled in for so many team fights that the Yuzong is just directly out-farming her in lane, even after the 1v1 victory. And the heavy spins have not been successful thus far.
Yeah, taking a look at the level ranking. Nicolette, though, at least keeping up overall.
Cho'Gath comes in,
level 9.
Gets caught with the Fizz crack, 1v4, but the Heart Guard gonna keep the Baxia alive very easily. Black Dragon form separates Ashley from the rest of GG, and it's an easy pick-off.
Nicolette playing the map, though, on the top side, able to take a tower. I think, is this the approach that GG's trying to make? We haven't seen this approach from them before. That's normally they're very grouped up. This time they're playing the map. And Tidal Legends Gaming, on the other hand, is playing more of the group. But since they have Bay, as long as Bay can kind of cover those off lanes, this is what we've seen from Yuzongs in the past. You play the long lane, you play the off lane.
Furious Phoenix purified, but it's not enough because Vermouth just explodes in the mid lane.
Getting the kill. Still battle, though, in the mid side.
Blade Surge being considered. No Fizz crack. Actually, a yes Fizz crack. Two-man stunned by Ashley. Kenzaki and Cho'Gath now being chased down and executed. Double kill to Panda.
That is huge for the side of GG. Not only do they get 3 members down, but they break through on the mid-tier 3, opening up the map for themselves. Just when we were counting Ashley out, she finally gets a solid Fizz crack down. And now we're going to convert that into a turtle for the side of GG. Gold finally slanting into their favor.
Finally, Gaimin Gladiators finds a very, very solid W there in the mid lane. They took it slow, found the correct catches, and that translates directly into a turtle and 2 tier 1s. Yinhui still farming out well, but the gold lead now in the Gaimin Gladiators' favor.
Look at Yinhui, though. Berserker's Fury just comes in. The damage is going to start stacking up. I think the only thing that Tidal Legends Gaming is lacking right now, the fact that they pick up the Angela. you do still lack a bit of backline. Yes, it gives some more sustainability to your two frontliners, Chokus and Bay, but is that gonna be enough? And if they get caught by a big fist crack, it's trouble for TLG. So I think TLG, this time it's not as singularly dynamic on how they need to approach these fights like it was in the last game. They have to think about the angles they come in from. Do they stick together? Do they wrap around? How exactly are they gonna do it?
It's a bit of a reversal here where Tidal Legends Gaming are a little bit more dependent on the rundown in this case. They gotta maximize the hard guard in order to get teamfight victories. And Gaimin Gladiators is making use of that. They are able to take another tier 2 up top, and they're actually pressuring the map.
Another important thing to point out, Nicolette is having a much better game this time. She's 2-0-2. Last time she took some early deaths, and that's what you never want to have happen when you're playing a Suyo. But now that she's on the Suyo 2-0-2, the damage is finally there, and Tien Wei needs to be careful. Vermouth needs to be careful. The back line has to be careful because you get hit by one of those bad Blade Surgers, one bad Queller, and you're in a bad position against Nicolette.
Yeah, Nicolette's definitely a lot happier in this game. There's only really one main source of magic damage that she has to worry about, and it's quite easy to cancel the Feathered Airstrike as long as you time it correctly. So the Suyo is just running around unimpeded. It's very important for Yinhuai and Vermouth to keep their position stable. Choka's going very far here.
Yeah, Nicolette closes in. Feathered Airstrike does come down.
Fury of Phoenix instantly cancels, gets a 3-man stun. Yinhuai flickers away. Choka is going to be able to tank quite a lot. Here comes the Black Dragon form with the Heart Guard. Looking for Panda specifically, but gets fist cracked against the wall. Heavy spin going to be used to lock down Chokas, but Faye is chasing down the backline. But one final death, Sonata killing spree to Panda.
Gaimin Gladiators on the edge. Everyone's sitting at about 10% health there. But they're able to poke away, play the distance, and Panda, with a final warning shot, takes out Bay, snipes him. But hold on, Ashley in a bad spot.
Ashley really should not have been that far forward at that low HP. You gotta respect the Farsa. But Gaimin Gladiators do still have the numerical advantage right now. They're gonna reset the Lord and play it safe.
Yeah, I think this is what they should have done the first wave. Gaimin Gladiators went straight for the Lord, even though they were all sitting at about 30% health bars. Watch for area, though. Keeping vision. Panda.
Choka's gonna collide. Fury of the Phoenix comes in, gets the stun on the Baxia. Chokas is at 40% HP, a bit of a dangerous level to contest the Lord on. Looks like she will choose to recall.
All right, it's about another 40 seconds or so until Sayori gets that Fury of the Phoenix back. Something to point out as well for Sayori, also having a much better game this time. 0 deaths. Last time wasn't doing too hot. What do we need to see from TLG here?
Chokas rolls right in. Here comes the Black Dragon front flank with Hard Guard as well. Ashley down to half HP. Lord down to 20%. Nicolette seals it away, dashes away like a bandit, but Panda gonna get shut down in return as the Black Dragon dies in the backline. Heavy spin, pushes Bay against the wall. Hard Guard has expired, but Gaimin Gladiators can no longer fight.
Gaimin Gladiators can't fight to get the Lord, though. 1.8 goal lead as well. Bay's been doing an amazing job. The combo between the Heart Guard and the Black Dragon has been troublesome for Panda. She was able to dodge it the first time, but this time Bay connects. Lord coming out, 9 seconds on the clock for Panda. I think GG need to slow down this push as much as possible. Give Panda time to get in this fight because she is the one dealing the damage for the team.
And Panda really should not have been caught out there. A little bit more respect to the Black Dragon would have been good. Fury of the Phoenix only catches Vermouth, but zones Tidal Legends away from the Lord. Gaimin wants to escort this into the inhibitor. Very random Feathered Airstrike there in the mid lane just to slow things down. The Lord will collide, but instantly fall.
Lord does go down. GG not able to get too much out of that push. Do they even want to push this? They're going to be able to take this orange buff, maybe starve out TLG, expand this gold lead as much as they can. Because here's the thing, in another 7 or so minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, it's going to be at that tie game score once again. And I think GG know the clock is on.
GG will be able to take the mid inhibitor. Choka is looking to engage, actually. Stuns Ashley. Here comes the Black Dragon with the Heart Guard, chasing down Panda and Sayori. Aria's in position, does have the heavy spin, gonna use it, but they're not able to lock it down. There's a hole in the back of the purple buff. Finally, Faye gonna bet pushed against the wall. Panda executes the Yuzong. Choka is trying to hold the front line. Yinhuai chased down by Nicolette. It's a killing spree for the Suyo.
Well played by GG once again. Panda this time, I'm saving this flicker. I'm saving it to the last second. Bay does what she's supposed to do, hits the Black Dragon, aims for Panda, but Panda continues to kite.
Here's the opening GG is looking for. It's a 5v3 base defense. Tidal Legends focusing on clearing the minions, but GG are very low on HP total. They're not able to muscle their way in, so it is not the end game yet.
And everyone once again on the side of GG is down low health. Tidal Legends Gaming doing a wonderful job at defending these pushes. They're still holding on to one more tower. Let's take a look at the items. Yin Hui still working on number 4 here. Still looking for the Malefic. Are we going into Malefic here? What is going to be this 4th item? We have a little bit of speed down the line though. Overall, Bay still doing a great job. Look at the map control from Nicolette on the top side. I think that's the plan, just push that long lane, keep it in the advantage, and try to get a clean Lord.
It's definitely feeling like this Suyo is a pocket pick for Nicolette. You can see the confidence, you can see the cleanliness that she's able to engage and disengage from these team fights and also steal away those objectives. Despite everything though, Bay is still holding on to a 2K goal lead over Aria.
She is the only member on their team with a lead over her opposing lane, and that is in the face of a 5,000 gold lead for GG. Bay, win or lose this game, has done an amazing job at keeping TLG in this game at all right now. It is all Bay or nothing.
We were concerned about the Granger Zetian showing up early in the draft, whether or not GG would be able to play slower, more controlled poke-down compositions. But the adaptation has happened. This is the best that Gaimin Gladiators have looked the entire tournament, and they're gonna force this Lord dance.
Yeah, I think the comfortability of Panda, you know, we've all said it, the airfill is great, but Panda's just playing so much better on this Granger. I think it's something that maybe they should have put into her hands a little bit earlier, and now it's match point for TLG. Can they change it?
Spirit Phoenix comes out, Choke is locked down with the fist cracks, Nicolette melting her down, Panda picks up the kill, Hardguard with the Black Dragon, Bay, will she be able to do enough, chases down Panda, Heavy Stream comes in, it's not enough! The final Dragon Tail finishes off the Granger.
Are they still going to go for the close here? Minions are on the base. GG decide to back off. They've lost their damage dealer. Panda gone. You know, she flickered the wrong way there. I hate to say it. She flickered to the left. I think if she went closer to the river, would have possibly been okay there, but that's the dice you roll sometimes. That's the misplay. And look at the positioning right now from GG. You have Ashley, you have Sayori, keeping TLG at bay. Look at the mini-map. GG, on the other hand, we're going to get this Lord. We're still in advantage, and TLG unable to do too much against that with Chokus gone.
Now, Chokus playing a very important role at this point and having difficulty being able to run into the fight anymore. Now that Gaimin Gladiators have so much damage under their belt, it's a full build on both Panda and Nicolette.
Something important to note out though, Windwalker has been locked in for Panda. That is going to be important when Bay tries to close in, when that damage tries to lock on, a little bit more survivability. On the other hand, I mean, man, Bay's doing insane damage, insane heal. This is the first time I feel like we've finally seen a EXP laner that lifesteal's actually, Spell Vamp is back a little bit, and it's kind of crazy to see.
I kind of wish that Bay had a Winter Crown though, potentially, just to buy a little bit more time in the front line. Loa's gonna come in, Chokus trying to bait it towards the side with the only inhibitor left standing. Spirit Phoenix comes out, Bay gonna be forced to back it up. The final inhibitor will fall, Heavy Spin pushes Vermouth into Gaimin Gladiators, right into the iron sights of Panda, but Sayori gonna be traded in return. And now the Black Dragon chases them down, fist crack on 2, but it's the 2 tankiest members of Tidal Legends. Aria jumps back in, mega kill for Nicolette, chasing down Yin Hui, 1v1 Gaimin Gladiators! They have done it! They have melted through the ranks, and they will take their first victory of MWI!
For the first time in 3 games, GG get a win in the first time in 3 games. They finally go all in on a fight. They didn't split up in that last moment. It could have been easy to fall, but Panda holds it together, gets the kills that matter. The whole team finally seem a little cohesive.
This is what we were talking about, Trex. This is what we've been waiting for. Some more controlled team fights, more deliberate movements, and a draft that doesn't already put them at a disadvantage from the very beginning. This is what we've wanted to see from the Gaimin Gladiators.
Very well done. I mean, not perfectly clean. You know, there were still some hiccups there. There were still a couple things to work on. but they put a win in the book. They're not leaving empty-handed right now without something to say, without a statement. TLG, though, what went wrong?
I think TLG, unfortunately, while it is a solid composition and it was working very well for them towards the early to mid game, once Gaimin Gladiators started to save their resources a little bit more, wait out timers, and make full use of the Fury of the Phoenix to get in formation, the game changed dramatically.
I mean, yeah, taking a look at the replays, man, I still can't get over. Bay played a great game, but I think today Panda played, or this game at least, Panda played a little bit better. Arya as well. The Akai ended up working out. It had some big moves. Nicolette, everyone on the side of GG just seemed to finally be in sync here. We finally got a best of 3 for the first time so far in MWI, and I'm excited to see it. Leo, are you excited to see it as well?
I'm excited to see the Suyo finally get a win. And in the face of a Farsa nonetheless, and it's not like that's the only real magic damage source. Baksha churns out DPS damage. Angela throws out DPS damage and some healing, but alas, Nicolette still got the dub. So if I were to just right off the bat name an MVP, I'm looking at Nicolette. I'm looking at Apple. Like, she plays the Suyo the way I would.
The way you would. Is that well?
Not really.
That's very, very well.
No, I'm actually looking for Suyo inspirations in the current metagame because come on, we all got that Sasuke skin, right? We all got the Sasuke skin. It's like, why can't we use it? What? That's a One Piece character. Oh, not.
I did not get the Sasuke skin.
Why not?
Because I'm not. I'm more of a Naruto fan.
So did you get the Naruto skin?
I did.
All right.
Kakashi.
Lucas does get some play, but yeah, no. Here today, GG stood their ground. They're not taking this lying down. TLG, though, I'm glad that they're still experimenting. Again, we were alluding to the Yuzhong, and here it finally is. It just overshot. It went a little too far and too deep.
I think we did see the Yuzhong a little bit yesterday. I forget exactly from which team. It was on Stream A. It did not win. I'm pretty sure. Leo could probably pull that info up for me. He's the real man behind the curtain right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it did not win yesterday. And once again, it does not win today. But today, I will say it looked very good. And holy Lord, we got some stats.
This looks great.
That looks good.
All right, let's see exactly how Bay built this Yuzhong. It's hybrid. That's a good half of the build fully defensive with the Oracle and the Queen's Wings, and then the other half damage with the Hunter Strike and the War Axe.
And she actually opened up with damage. Just to let everybody know, I think it opened up with Hunter Strike or War Axe into Blood Wings, into Oracle, and then maybe we're looking like we're finishing off with a Antique Cuirass, most likely here, I'm guessing.
And nothing changes with the Suyo. Again, look at that. It's a thing of beauty. I love it. That's how you build it. And let's not forget to give a shout out to Arya's Akai stuff. How you like that one?
It's a full tank Akai, and that's exactly what you need, right? You're dealing with a Yuzhong. It's very unlikely you're going to directly win against Yuzhong on a typical fighter, so you go into full utility instead. It requires a little bit of execution. The first few fights were messy, and Arya kind of got left out in the lurch. And because she got pulled into so many fights, wasn't able to farm up nearly as well as Bay, but it didn't really matter because her goal, once we got into the mid to late game, is just use heavy spin on the Yuzhong, and then that 10k net worth total no longer means anything.
And once again, Gaimin Gladiators proves to us your priorities don't matter, ours do. That early badang, once again, forced through the curtains right out the bat. That's what Coach Rexvin, Coach Midnight said we're picking, and they won with it still. Ashley has found, her flame. Like, this is her hero.
Yeah, and it took a little bit. It took 3 games, but finally, yeah, it is. In that game, it looked good. I was doubting it. I was worried about it. I saw it come on. I'm like, oh, here we go again. But Ashley, we saw that first big connection under the tier 3 in the mid, and that was kind of the game changer. That where we were like, okay, GG is here.
I think it really also came down to a general switch in dynamic, right? Because in game 1, GG was playing the dive composition. Once they commit, they can't get out. The same thing happened to TLG, Once they decide we have to fight, there's no way to disengage if it goes wrong.
Checking out our big 4.
More graphics.
Most damage dealt, of course, Panda with that Granger. And again, that's the story, it seems like, for Gaimin Gladiators, is they're finding what they're comfortable with. Panda, highest GPM, highest damage dealt per game, highest damage per minute, most assists, again, that badang in the hands of Ashley, and chokes on the Baksha, the highest damage taken. in the absence of a traditional roam, because then you have the Angela, you're left to the Baksha. Not even the Yu Zhong, because the Yu Zhong is more of a, again, I hate to say more of an assassin. The Oracle and the Queen's Wings are more of just ways for her to get out or for her to sustain the fight. But yeah, no, it all went down on choke guess. Like, she was the one peel.
I think there was a need for adaptation from TLG actually, because they were very good in the early game because Chokes takes the front line, then Yuzong dives the back, picks off the Granger and the Zetian straight away, but GG eventually learns this. They just keep Arya with those two and have the front line hold Chokes back for as long as possible. Because every time a fight starts, the Heart Guard goes in straight away. No waiting, no like deciding maybe we shouldn't go for this.
Yeah.
Bey just dives in, and when you're 1v3 with an Akai as well, you're not gonna win that.
Seems like a blind decision. So maybe TLG, they injected some innovation, but they did not think of the other options that they had, the variations that they could put into their play to try and stop GG from taking us all the way. A quick update. It was DreamHack's girls yesterday who brought in the Yu Zhong in the hands of Day and lost. Very savagely, because that is the game that Yippee won.
That was the Savage.
Yippee scored the Savage.
That's why I
on him.
think I saw the highlight and I was like, oh, there's a Yu Zhong there. Look
Yeah,
at that. We missed that.
But it's still lost.
Yippee Kaye.
Yay. So, with that said, let's check out the highlights once more. Look back at exactly what we were talking about. There it is. As we click play, you have the Yu Zhong coming in with that Angela in her. And can I just say, Panda's choice when she uses the flicker is, you fellas mentioned this earlier, is just mwah, chef's kiss.
Last moment, every time, knew exactly how to push it. Another player I really got to point out, Arya. You were talking about her a little bit earlier, and it seems like she was really with the team this time, man. She was really connected. She was knowing when to use the heavy spin. She was a part of GG this time, and that's what we like to see. All 5 of them, finally, comms are there, and this was the only flicker that was rough. Panda went left. She should have went up. She should have went anyway, but
Well, the wall was there. I don't think she would have gone through the wall. It happens.
Right? But yeah, that's the dice, right? Sometimes it's like, it's a 50-50, it's a coin flip.
But she wanted to fight. Like, if again, assuming that her controls were where they are based on the map positioning, if she went up, she would have bumped into the wall. If she went down, she would have overshot or just bumped into the other wall down there.
It's a tough spot.
She could have just gone right though, like with her team, you know, behind her teammates.
Well, listen, whoa.
Yeah,
Let's not hate on Panda too much here.
Behind means she won't get the kill. So she was going in. It was an aggressive flicker. It was an aggressive flicker. And that bump into the wall was just, you know, half the way she wanted to go. But alas, a win is a win. We no longer have to think of what ifs, because the reality of the situation is Gaimin Gladiators have pushed the limit. We're going all the way. TLG just a game away as well from being eliminated. Comes down the wire, sudden death. The rubber match, best of 1.
Rubber match. I haven't heard that term in a long time.
I don't even know why it's called a rubber match, but you know what it means.
It's because, yeah, you're bouncing back and forth.
That's the first time
It's
I've
like
heard
being
that
in the
term.
ring. It's an American thing. You wouldn't understand.
Yeah, it's a sports thing.
It's like a sports thing.
Understandable.
It's a rubber band match, you know, because you're bouncing. It's like, or when you're in the ring and you're throwing punches and you're. I'm really just breaking it down for everybody right now, but it's a rubber match.
I think it's something else when I say rubber bands. Rubber band stacks.
Rubber band stacks, baby. That's another American thing.
That's what they're fighting for here. Again, the difference between 10,000 USD and whatever comes up if you do make it to the top 12 here, because this is 4 teams going away. Ladies and gentlemen, the draft has begun. It's Gaimin Gladiators on the play. Coach Rexvin, I'm looking at him. He looks like he wants to pick the badang again. While TLG, they answer back, Coach Catvin, he's got to win this or else him and the girls are going home.
The same can be said for both teams, right? Again, pushed against the wall, rubber match, as you guys put it. A best of 1 determines which of these 2 teams ends their journey as the first team eliminated from MWI.
It's a thing, Sadafa. Let's take our word for it.
I believe you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Heard some doubt in your voice.
Maybe a little. But it's
real.
okay. I believe you.
It's real. Like, you can Google it and you can do it in public. Gaimin Gladiators banning out the Yusun Shin and the Uranus, while TLG taking out the Baksha and the Hayabusa. That's a lot of jungle prio.
I mean, it's understandable. I think the junglers on both sides, oh wow, even more jungle prio.
See?
Both sides have done really, really well, right? Nicolette on the Suyo was terrifying in game 1. Chokus on the Joy was a big factor of how TLG won out the game. So we are seeing a lot of respect happening there and trying to narrow the game in a way that's a little bit more predictable overall. With the Kimi now being the final ban on the red side, Gaimin Gladiators have a choice to make.
And what is that choice?
What's their first pick?
Of course, I mean, that's a choice that each drafter has to make at every turn, right?
We've seen typical picks would be something like Farsa. Then the Badang has been
Badang
seen.
here? It's GG. Again, they've found success with the Badang. Even game 1. Game 1 was winnable with the Badang. So I don't doubt that. And even with all these junglers taken out, that Kimi Prio, I think this makes Suyo even better. Mind you, there is still the Farsa and Zetian trade and Zushin, mind you, very lethal in the hands of Vermouth. You know what? I'm gonna leave this to Trex and Stafa now. Y'all put on lock.
This time, we're locking in Panda up front. We're taking in the Granger. It was comfortable last time, and I'm not completely against it, honestly. I think it could be solid. The Bosch is gone. TLG, though, what do they pick after this?
Now, there's a possibility of stealing away the Badang at this point. And then besides that, you have to consider the mage matchup. Farsa and Zetian are both still wide open. So those are both possibilities.
Farsa Badang?
Yeah, Farsa Badang is possible. But when you think about the Granger and Farsa matchup, we've also seen something like Selena pop up.
Ooh, and they take the Suyo. So it is a we're flipping the script here a little bit. We're flipping the table. The Suyo might be a little bit early, honestly. Fredrin is still open. I think it could be a solid pick for Nicolette here. I do think they should lock in jungle early. And then I think Farsa Fredrin looks solid to me. You have the damage for a utility jungler right now. You have the damage for that completely. There's no Hayabusas on the field. We still haven't seen Nicolette venture much farther than Hayabusa into the assassin pool. So I don't know if we're going to see something like a Lancelot pop up or the Ling. It's something we've been kind of hoping for, but she hasn't given it to us, even though there's ample opportunity.
Well, if any time is the time to bring it out, that this is going to be it here. Potentially their final game. They go in the opposite direction though. Utility jungle. We're going to see the Fredrin Arlet combination. A very powerful team fight setup and frontline duo.
The good thing about the Arlot duo is we've seen it be flexed a little bit. It's most likely it's going to go to Arya. It's what we saw yesterday from Arya, but I'm not completely against seeing Ashley rock that if they want to, and that gives them a little bit of open ability. TLG, I think the Farsa is just a solid pick for them right here. If they don't, I got a feeling we're going to see mage bans all around the board in this second phase of bans.
Yeah, I do like the Farsa here, especially if TLG were watching the match between Navi, MWI, and GG yesterday. Hani's Farsa's positioning oftentimes baited Aria's Arlet out of position. There's a chance to recreate that history depending on how much Aria has adjusted in that sense. But oh, going in a different direction, the Wanwan shows up for the first time.
The Wanwan's solid against the Fredrin, right? It's someone that wants to be stable. It's someone that wants to sit in the front. He's not going to be able to lock down on to this Wanwan, even if he brings the dash in. She has that second skill. She has that ability to just kind of get away if she wants. So, and then he's going to be a sitting duck. So it's a very easy target to get those stacks off, to get that crossbow of Tang off. Let's see if she can pull it off, though.
Yeah, I think it's a great choice. It's something that completely slipped my mind because previously many teams would ban the 1-1 if it was something they were considering. But here TLG sneaks it out towards the end. Minotaur being banned out is just meant to avoid giving Gaimin Gladiators even more counter engage since their frontline is already very strong at this point. And a CC ban from GG will create some questions. Is this actually an EXP Arlet?
I'm like I said, it's still very flexible. It's a pick that we know could go either way. It's the first time we've seen a pick that I think is just a solid flex pick overall for GG. TLG, on the other hand, there's actually no mage bans. GG, do they want to take out the Farsa here? Do they want to take out the Vitienne? Something along long that matters. Zushin also still on the field. It's a complete switch up than what we've been seeing over the past couple days. So many options available. I like the Matilda ban. This limits down GG because the Matilda Fredrin is something to be feared in a sense. It works so well together. It gives Nicolette the ability to just be able to go in and out even more.
Yeah, it would be a great way to save it from the crossbow tank too. I was thinking that out of all the mages, Zushin might actually be the best option for TLG, but looks like Gaimin Gladiators agreed with me since that ends up being their final ban on the blue side. And Tidal Legends instantly locks in the Phoveus. They are 100% in on the train that this Arlet is EXP.
All right, so last 2 picks for GG. I still think, yeah, man, you just keep it simple, front to back, pick up the Farza here. And then for EXP lane or Roam, you just go for a tanky frontliner. We did see the Tigreal early on, and it wasn't a super bad pick in previous days. They go for the Gatot instead, also very solid frontliner. How do we feel about the draft?
I actually really like the draft from Gaimin Gladiators. They have a lot of tools. Their frontline is easy to play around. Their front-to-back composition is very traditional, and that makes it easier to execute. And they have get-out-of-jail-free cards in the form of that AOG, so this Gatot can walk forward, bait out the crossbow of Tang, and get out.
So do we just see the ZTN here from the side of TLG, or do they pick something spicy? We've seen the Valentina pop up. You know who we haven't seen? We haven't seen the real-world manipulation come into play in a while, and a couple of us were wondering, why not? Is this something that's still playable? I mean, it's a question on all of our minds, but they go for the Aurora. We're jumping back a season or 2 right now. This did work very well against the Fredrin in the past. It works well against that heavy frontline composition. You get the freeze off. You have the ability to slow them down. What it lacks is mobility, though, in a high mobility meta.
It means that Tidal Legends are going to have to put a lot of attention towards how they position in team fights, because GG has a lot of heroes that can just jump you out of nowhere, that can flank you from behind, and a lot of very powerful ultimates. Aurora can be good at dealing with the tankier frontliners, but it comes down to execution.
You know, it's crazy how now GG is the one playing basic Mobile Legends, just honest, true, and now TLG, on the other hand, is kind of approaching these compositions in a very different way. Kind of the way that GG was getting stuck to approach them, and just how much the draft has been affecting these games. I will say I like GG's composition over TLG right now. TLG seems to have a couple more boxes to check.
I agree with you, Trex, but in the end, it comes down to how well these ladies perform in the land of Dawn itself. Game number 3 between Gaimin Gladiators and Tidal Legends Gaming. A single victory between going home or moving on.
In game number 3, mechanics will reign supreme here. Taking a look at everything, both compositions. I mean, with the Suyo on the side of TLG, there's obviously an opportunity for an early game snowball. They do have the Wanwan for end game support, and even though we've seen Wanwan pop off in the mid, we've seen Wanwan be good overall. Sayori, on the other hand, focusing more on the top side, coming into the mid lane a little bit late.
Still early enough to do some good poke damage to Vermouth, though. Bay gonna be focusing on freezing out that EXP lane. Phoveus is technically a counter to Arlet, but the recent quality of life changes really allow Aria to be oppressive in lane if not handled correctly.
And I like the way the Panda lets that last minion, takes it slow, knows that this isn't going to be as easy as a matchup as maybe the past one. Has to be a little bit careful. I'm excited to see how Arya plays this Arla. Yesterday we saw Arya and Arla, and it did not impress me too much, honestly. Dived a little too deep at some points. Arya though, the last game, we saw her be a part of the team, and that's what we need to see from this Arla this time if GG is going to be able to pull through.
Honestly, if you ask me, based on the way Aria plays, I think she's the type of player that wants to be utility, wants to be useful to the team. The reason why she overextended so much in day 1 was because the team was asking her to commit to canceling abilities, and maybe took that a little bit too far.
And now Turtle is up. TLG with 4 members at it. Gaimin Gladiators a little low.
Kenzaki gonna miss out, does get the wall out. It is absolute brawl here. Bay not successful in canceling first blood, but Sayori picks up the first blood as Jokas is the first person picked off the Land of Dawn. That's a free turtle for Nicolette.
Free Turtle plus a free jungler. Panda now looking for the 1v1.
Yinhui trying to dash away. One last Death Sonata, not quite enough. So the 1-1 survives, but here comes the AOG. Ashley wants to set it up, and the skill 1 blast. Oh, Yinhui so close to the ultimate, but not close enough.
GG has found their groove on the top side as well now.
Bay in the 1v. But actually ends up being a 1-for-1. Aria stuck under the tower for too long.
All right, let's take a look at the board. It's 3 minutes in, 4 deaths. Nicolette 1-0-1. Sayori with a kill for herself as well. On the side of TLG, it's just Bay sitting with something, and she had to pay for that kill. She had to fall down under the tower. TLG, like I said, having Vermouth as this Aurora, it's a slightly slower rotation, and in games that they've won, they were fast-paced, they were moving around the map, and now with Sayori on a mage that she can finally kind of find a pace for herself with the Wings by Wings, it's a much different Sayori than what we've been seeing in the past.
Yeah, I think this is actually the first draft where Gaimin Gladiators has early game advantage over Tidal Legends, and they're making use of that priority, rotating around a lot more than usual and not allowing TLG to be as oppressive as we know them to be.
Kenzaki does show herself. You know, Panda just locked in the Hunter Strike, going to give her even more speed in terms of these fights. Already with a 1 level advantage over Yinhui, and now being able to rotate. Might give them another advantage on this next turtle.
The taunt onto Chokus, dashes out, but gets countered again by Ashley, and Sayori comes in, bursts down the Suyo. Revitalize, keeps Sayori topped up even in the 2-man fist crack. And Yinhui, why are you here? This is too late to the party. Panda gets a free meal.
1-0-1 for Panda, 2-0-1 for Sayori. The damage dealers are eating good right now. Another turtle as well for GG, most likely. This is getting bad quick for TLG.
This is a completely different result than we've seen in the previous games. Gaimin Gladiator with nearly a 3,000 gold lead in 4.5 minutes. Tidal Legends cannot even approach to contest this turtle.
Yeah, I think at this point TLG's taking it right. They know, okay, we're our main snowball hero in the wait a second.
1v3, you can't dance out of that one.
There's no dancing for sure. So we see Yinhui with 3 deaths. This is your late game hero. We have your early game hero, Suyo, with 2 deaths. What is the answer for TLG here? Yes, obviously at this point, yeah, we hold out. It's 3.6k gold lead, 5 minutes in. We're about 700 gold a minute for the side of GG. Towers are starting to fall. GG just needs to convert this into other parts of the map. Choke's in a bad spot.
She's being vice-gripped. 4 members of Gaimin Gladiators running her down under her top tier 1. Choke is now 0-3-0 as well. Things are going from bad to worse.
You know, TLG have done so well in previous games in terms of their map control, in terms of being able to spread out. But this is a time when they need to change gears a little bit. They need to group up a bit more because GG is hunting them down 1 by 1 across the map, and TLG nobody can get caught alone. Red alert has been activated. You gotta stick together because GG's a fast-moving composition, and if you're at a tower by yourself, you're gonna get dived on.
But the more you stick together, the less you're able to farm, and this is way earlier in the game than you would typically want to start 5-man deathballing.
But that's what you have. I mean, you're not deathballing, you are survive balling at this point. You are just huddling together, hoping you can get the scraps of food you can, because no, there's no other answer to survive this right now.
Tidal Legends, they've already lost control of their jungle. We're only 6 minutes in and there is barely any space on the map to farm. The gold difference just expanding more and more with each passing minute. Panda's already nearly 3,000 gold ahead of Yinhui. This is a terrible spot.
Seems like GG's just been downloading for the past 2 days, and finally the information is locked in a bit. It's a completely different team than what we saw yesterday. It's a completely different game than what we saw in game number 1. Maybe the trick was just stop picking Aerith. They'll put Panda on something comfortable. Make sure that Arya is winning the EXP lanes. The mid lane maybe wasn't the problem ever. The mid trio, it was all on the off lanes having comfortability, because that is showing right now. Another turtle goes over to GG.
Side lane pressure has always been the answer if you want early game advantage. And looks like Gaimin Gladiators finally figured it out. Sayori on this Farsa as well is just making it so that TLG cannot approach the contest. Fizzcrack comes in, gets a two-man lockdown! It's a frigid frost! AOG gets a four-man knockdown with a revitalized Panda! Is going nuts with the artillery triple kill! Aria finds the final hit as well! Vermouth, the only survivor!
That is something. For just a second, TLG, they get the freeze combo, they get the fist crack combo, they have it all laid out on a platter, but GG, the gold lead is just too much at this point. Ashley comes in at the last moment, drops the AOG beautifully, and Panda's there to back her up. At this point, we're looking at possibly a fast game, 11-2, GG doing to TLG what Malaysia did to them yesterday. This is a match right here.
We are looking at what may be a anticlimactic end to the Chinese team here in MWI Tidal Legends Gaming. We are 8 minutes in, only 2 kills to 11, an entire 8,000 gold disadvantage. It is the most one-sided game we have seen in a while.
In a while, for sure. The wraparound is happening as we speak. Gaimin Gladiators. Lord's gonna be up in 30 seconds, but they're playing it aggressive. They're like, listen, we're coming for that 9-minute spot. It's a little too late for that at this point, but yeah, they're like, I mean, it's a lot of times at this point you just freeze lanes, but GG doesn't want to let up. Is that a dangerous move for them?
I mean, I think you can. You literally got 3 members caught in one of TLG's best potential combos earlier, and it did nothing to you. Every single holy defense is already gone before the 9-minute mark even. Gaimin can basically do whatever they want.
I mean, it did do something. If it wasn't for Ashley's AOG, they might have died in that situation. The fist crack plus the big freeze combo was a problem, but Ashley's timing was impeccable in terms of turning that fight around. And now look at the positioning. TLG knows, yeah, we can't even fight for this Lord. We got to turtle up. We got to huddle up. We got to wait our time. And that time is a long, 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 long way away right now. We're talking 10 minutes possibly. With Yin Hui being 4 deaths down, 0 kills. Chokes just got the War Axe in. That might be item number 2 for him at this point. It's a bad deficit.
Sayori just picked the rapid boots to be even more oppressive on the map, and Panda actually grabbed a BOD at the same time Chokes finished her first item. That's how big the goal difference is looking right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's only the first Lord of the game, but I don't even know if TLG can defend it.
Let's take a look at the items now. Like I said, yes, that was 2nd item for Chokes. Only 1 item in for Yin Hui right now. Nothing but the scythe, the sickle, whatever you want to call it. This is problematic. That is a 5K gold lead for Panda. This might end right here.
First Lord of the game crashes in. Usually not a threat, but in this case, one of the biggest issues Tidal Legends could have to deal with. Gaimin Gladiators taking it slow, learning from their past mistakes, and not trying to force their way through even with a 10,000 gold advantage. But they're still sticking around. They know how easily it would be for them to body their way through. AOG comes in, misses completely. Here comes the fist crack, finds the backline. Lockdown Panda, forces the flicker away. Frigid Glacier misses as well. Chokes looking for Panda, but he is godlike. Double kill for the Granger. And Nika, let's smash this. Chokes into the ground. With your praises, Rap. Yin Hui looking for the crossbow of Tang, but is not able to find a triple kill for the Panda. Maniac! Gaimin Gladiators with the wipeout as they send Tidal Legends Gaming packing.
Well done by Gaimin Gladiators. It's been a rough couple of days for them. They take some hard losses, but pick up the pieces and survive another day in the Mobile Legends Women's International. Very well done.
Possibly the most well done they could have asked for. A complete 180